Welcome everyone to the Blueprint for Peace for Humanity. This is day 4, the morning session for Wednesday, July 5th, 2017. And I think we'll move right into hearing Mr. Keshe and describing what today's topics will be. Mr. Keshe, are you available there?
Yes, good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to our Knowledge Seekers program. As we are aware, most of us with these teachings, we have moved the level of teaching and understanding to a level that we all understand, we all know, but we have ignored the existence of it ourselves. We always gathered and we thought and we prayed for our souls and the soul of the ones we loved, not knowing that our soul is within us. It's the source of essence of our creation. In the teaching of yesterday, we announced very clearly and we tried to explain the reason we have joined the peace and the soul teaching together is because the essence of creation is the soul of man. And when the soul of man is at peace, it brings peace with itself. It does not matter where in this universe or in the universe. You cannot have a peace movement in essence if you do not understand what is the cause of not having peace. The cause of not having peace is not a dog, is not a cat, is not the lion. It's the behavior of the man himself in respect to the others. The greed of the man, the understanding of the man that he can have whatever he likes as long as he does not destroy another life. To us, life, now that we have advanced in the knowledge of creation, is what any entity which can repeat its existence and maintain its existence. To maintain, to exist, and be able to dictate the life of the man is very simple. It means you have intelligence. It means you exist through the totality. It means you have learned to convert one field to another, that in conversion you can use the surplus for your life. Or you can take energy without destroying another life. When we talk about peace, peace is very simple. In different languages, we greet each other with the word peace. With a peace on you, peace with us. Shalom is one way of it. The translation with Arabic, we call it salam. So from the beginning to the end, we always relate behavior of man to the peace. That it means I do not cross the border what does not belong to me, that I do not create conflict and suffering in another man's life. It's strange enough, the religions which carry the greeting are the religions which kill more than anybody else. Look what has happened in the history of man. What we need to understand is there is no progress. There shall be no progress. It's impossible to have progress in peaceful manner if the man does not understand the structure and effect and existence of peace in his own life. What does this mean? How far can we push to understand? As I always say in all the teachings for past years, every man takes from what he wants according to his intelligence. Peace to me is being able to serve. Peace to another one is just to have enough to eat without trespassing somebody else's life or work. Peace to the others means I kill as many as you like and I pretend the others have done. We've seen that with political movements and governments. Creating war in the name of peace, what we call gun policy piece, and then they blame the others. It is what I call pickpocketing of the soul of the man, and they become good at it. British does it very well. The Jews have become excellent in that job. Muslims are not far behind them, and the Christians have topped the whole lot up. Go to the Buddhists, they take it the soul. So we see the religion has been and is a tool which has been the biggest thief of the life from man. The biggest wars come with religion. What is the problem with us? What is the problem with what we call religion is we have not come to understand, and we are gradually understanding, that religion in any shape or form or name is a path to conflict. Conflict in the soul of the man, in his physicality. I have to decide which guy, who whatever says, I prefer to listen to according to my intelligence, and then I defend it. So the first step of the conflict, destruction of the peace, comes in the soul of the man, with behavior of the man, where the soul is peaceful, but man, according to his pleasures of emotion, decides to split the message which comes from the soul, that we are all one. But now I'm going to peace this part of it, and I'm going to war the other part of it. So we understand the first conflict with us, the first war, comes with the name of religion. Because we only have to follow the path of one or the other, and once we agree that our physical part follows one path, we have to protect it. And by protecting it within our soul and the physicality of the man, we have to create a broad zone of conflict. The soul is a peaceful thing, a peaceful entity, but our action now has to divide, which brings the conflict between the physicality and the soul. This is why we call one nation, one planet, one race. With this, when we are all one, you'll find out religion does not count. Because when you behave as one, you have already become man of religion. You have become the prophet of yourself, which is the messenger of God, which means be at peace. When we don't have to fight another nation, when we don't have to fight another race, when we don't have another condition in one line of the border to another, we find we're at peace. We already terminated the first part of the conflict, which is ourselves, within ourselves, between our physicality and our emotion and our soul. So, as we understand more, we understand there cannot be peace if man does not understand the behavior of his soul, which is a peaceful entity. Where does the problem come? Why do we need arms? Why do we need conflicts? Why have we split and line things? Go back to the lines. Go back to the time of the man. How did we come to divide part of the land and call it a nation? To whose benefit? Who did we serve? First of all, our own ego. Nothing else. That we are different than the others. So we see the line of division of a nation is exactly created the same as the religion in the soul of the man. These are the sources of conflicts, religion and nationalism. If we are one nation, we cannot say anything else. When you're in the space, you can't say, I'm coming from the country of America, but I come from planet Earth and we are all human. It doesn't fit, does it? I come from Earth. The continent I'm from is called America. I come from Los Angeles and the rest of it. How come we call the street, we call the name of the city, we call the name of the town or wherever we come from, but when we put the last thing into it, the name of a nation, it has to be a war. It has to be a separation and protection. Do we put military around our cities, or do we put gunmen around our house? What is this that has made man to make the next border higher nationalist that he fights for? Do you fight with a submachine gun on the borders and the boundaries of your house? We don't do. So this has to be the behavior of the man. This has to be condition of the man. The home of the man has not to be just his house, has to be his planet. And this is what we will see. This is what will go. This is how we speak. This is what we need to understand. And then we have destroyed the basis, efforts, ammunition, what we call the soul of the man, and then for the man himself.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Okay. We had a temporary dropout there. Hello, Mr. Keshe. We can't.
Sorry about that. I'm just falling out. I might fall out for a few more seconds as I'm going to what we call our base, that everything is correct. So what we said and what we've seen, this is the problem. We have started creating these boundaries. We have started creating these divisions, and there is no need for it to be. It's us who has created these conditions. It's us who lives by the division to confirm we exist. How far can we go? To what extent? Now that we see
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
also around our body, that we say we protect our body. We don't put a machine gun at the front of that door with a tank in the back door to protect our home. So why do we do it with what we made, a place which has no mark anywhere, and we call it the nation, and then we put tanks and guns and everything else on it? Is there a mistake, or have we become schizophrenic? Have we come to the point that we take peace which suits us and we leave the other piece? Or do we have to start behaving homogeneous, the same, does not matter what it is? Do we need to call it a nation, as we don't call it a city or a home? Becoming peaceful needs a lot of understanding. Becoming a peaceful man needs to elevate the level of understanding. Why and how and what is the reason we create conflicts? What do we need to confirm that we exist? Do we need to do these kind of things? And then once we find out we don't build submachine guns for souls, we'll find out how ridiculous man has lived. We come to understand how those who have really nothing to do with us have become dictator of our lives. What we call the leaders in any shape or form. And the point for us should be very simple. Do we need to appoint people that they, for their own Hunger for power create wars. What is interesting for a lot of us, I teach the knowledge of peace, but on the other hand, we have to understand the ethos of the peace too. There is a solution. There is a very clear indication of solution. And that is, we do not put machine guns at our town halls, where our district or where we live, the city, is running its administration. Even if we still want to keep that part of the territory we call our nation, because we speak that language, we have these habits, and we like only fish and chips, and the other one says we only like this and that. Excuse me, Ray, can you allow me on my other line to come online, please, so that I can speak? On the second line I just opened. So what it is, we don't put machine guns, we don't put tanks, we don't need rocket launchers, we don't need missiles to protect our town hall, which is the most precious to us, closest to us. Why do we need to do it with a bigger scale we call a nation? Why suddenly things changes? Why, since when man decides when you increase the scale, you have to kill for it? We don't kill, we don't protect, we don't create armies for what is the closest to us, our home, our cities, our town halls, our boundaries of our cities. Why do we do it suddenly when it becomes a bigger scale? Or do we need to explain this to what we chose to be a bigger mayor, we call him the presidents or the kings? Do we need to have kings? Do we need to have emperors? Do we need to have presidents? Or shall we call them as the mayors, the larger mayors? Let's create one name that all are called the same name, but they have no power, no tools to order armies. Mayors cannot order wars and armies, so the bigger mayors. We have to find a passage for peace, psychologically acceptable, humanly possible, and at the same time, make sure that our decision does not cost the life of another man. If you lived in what I call wooded areas, if you live near the forest, man has made a beautiful thing for the forest. I used to enjoy going to the east of Belgium. It was like a second home to us. The strange thing was, when it comes to October, November, December, January, there is a note goes on the wood everywhere in the jungles, in the wood area. It says, shooting these days, and it gives you a notice. And then after these days, coming February, March, you cannot kill. You cannot kill any animal, because by law, by the way we understand, if we kill the animals in the springtime and the rest, there will not be another generation that we can kill next time. So we are doing it for our benefit. But the strange thing is, man has made rules when he does the most heinous job to kill an animal. But he has not made a rule for himself that these days of the year we stop killing other men. We have more respect for the animals, that we kill them in a certain period, But we're human being, we kill 24 hours a day, round the clock, 365 days. The whole ethos is wrong. We say we kill Muslims, and the Muslims say we kill the Jews and the Christians, and then the Jews very silently organize the Muslims, you pay them to kill the others and say they did it, not us. But they do it around the clock. So we are less than humans. We are less than the animal because we do not even understand what we are doing. We have chosen a path and we justify it because one man likes to be called a king and we want to speak only language in this and we only eat fish and chips. Doesn't matter, across the border you eat your chips, I eat my fish, you eat the way you like it, I like it the other way, it's all the same. But we give a time of rest not to kill animals, but we give no time of rest not to kill man. Now you understand. We need a time of rest, that no time we kill no one, because now we know, we understand time. Now we understand how we see how ridiculous the whole situation is. Then it goes to your soul. If you understand this, that you have a mercy, what we call not a mercy, at least you decide, I don't kill the animal between February until next October, because now they have to give birth, now they have to grow, and then when they grow, I kill. We don't do that with no one. We kill the children of the man from the age of born in the name of God. What the heck is going on? Which God? I'm here, I never ordered. We open bank accounts in the name of God. I'm here, there is no bank in the universe. What is the money you collected and you kill for? Don't forget, in the teaching, I said, and you learn to understand. The center point of your essence of creation, the plasma of life, carries the essence of the Creator and God. So, if God doesn't kill, what should man do? Now you understand what dilemma man has got himself into, and he sees killing as the only way of his own kind. If we don't stop this, we cannot take man to the space, because then he starts killing the others. And the weapon technology, understanding of the dissolution of the man's space of field is so simple that no man will exist more than a few seconds in the space. Because your intention, as you understand, can be understood, can be felt, and that intention to me can be danger. I don't kill you. I just create a field that you cannot kill me. What happens to you? You are forced to absorb the energy yourself, and it leads to your own destruction. Not, I do not cause it. Now you understand. There is impossible, it's absolutely impossible to separate the soul, the work of the soul of the man, and a piece of the man. Because one leads to the other, and one is the cause of the other. There's a very nice, beautiful couple of videos on the internet. When I see them, I really feel how we have taken for a fool and how we have accepted to do it. There is a guy, puts a turban on him with a bag, and he throws the bag at everybody. Because he looks like an Arab, everybody runs as a bomb. Now they put it on the priest, and the priest throws the bag, everybody sits, nothing happened. The father has left something behind. The same bag, just with the change of the hat. So who's creating these conditions? 99% of the wars today are paid, pushed, and enforced in the name of religion. Look at China. Do we see wars? The Muslims, the Christians, they're all in there, they're all living, Buddhists and everybody else is there, they're living. The government has made a condition that is peaceful, equal for all the nationals. They don't care. I always said, and it's very true if you go back and understand, the only place we see war, the only place we see conflict, the only place we see religion becomes important is two places. When the British turn up and when Vatican turns up. Very, very simple. Wherever British government structure offices opens up, we see conflict. Wherever Christianity in the name of Catholicism comes, we see conflict. But look at the size of both. The smallest nations and islands on this planet. Why this breeds conflict in the soul of the man? Before were Genghis Khans, before the worst killing is done by other nations, even the Persians did more before they came to understand there is no need for it. Romans did in their time and everything else. We will not stop till somebody puts alliances. From today on, we understand we don't do it. It hasn't brought anything to us for millions of years, thousands of years. And that day is today. We draw a line. We teach it, and I tell you something very easy. As we are going in the progressive teaching, as you start understanding more about the work of your soul, I will tell you something strange. You remember I explained that you will not enter because you know you got, as we say in the English language, your hand dirtied with blood. When we evolve and understand more of the work of the soul as we are doing, something strange will happen to you. As you can see, the operation of the soul, more than physicality, those who have killed, those who have incited wars, they carry a special brand on them, the special field on them that we know. You know, when a mother has a suckling baby, attaches to the breast, and he has to feed it because it's responsible for it. You find those who have killed will carry such attachment of soul because they have taken life for it, they have to nourish it. They have to look after it for what they have caused, separation of the soul from the physicality. Does not matter how you put it. If you understand this, you will understand why man cannot commit suicide. You see the soul of the man who has committed suicide in a very easy way. In a very, very easy way. Once you understand it, you never do it. Because you have done exactly as the other man has done to you. Part of the physicality is missing in the dimension of the motion and emotion, and part of the soul is missing as what you have done. The solution is to understand the essence of the soul is the essence of the peace, and the rest is made by man to confirm, to create conflict, for the man to confirm he exists and he can do wrong. We don't preach, we teach, we don't teach to preach, and then every excuse they come up with to make a man to kill, to make a man to get them to be what you call leaders or the head of or whatever. Ask yourself two questions. You remember, and the gentleman came and very cleverly put it to us a few days ago, that you promised that this day, that they world leaders sign. Do you remember what we put? 1 day of peace, no arms, 2 days of peace, no arms, and then 3 days? I brought humanity lower than the life of animal. And the man is still so ashamed that he did not understand. In the woods, we say no killing of animal from this day to that day. I tried to at least bring man to the level at least of animal, that you don't kill another man in these days. You never got the message, did you? And to you was ridiculous, you couldn't do it. I did, and your soul understood. Now you understand why we went through that process. We don't kill for a week. We don't do that with the animals. We give animals time to breed, to grow, and we give animals a space of not killing, but we don't do it to man. This was for a lot of you who listen, to show that the man is not even mature to treat another man a little bit less than an animal. We don't kill for 6 to 8 months of the year in the wild. The man is so wild that he kills every day another man. Now you understand the purpose and the process. And I wasn't wrong. I achieved peace through the way that man understands his animal behavior. Now you understand. Now you see and you understand the evolution and the direction of the soul of the man. Let's do one thing. Let's say all men, those who listen and now understand the work of the soul, teach the other souls that next Monday, for example, there'll be no killing. No one will kill no one, because us as members of the Keshe Foundation, now we understand, we give the animals time to live. Now we give time to humanity to live. We take over the position of the world leaders because they failed us miserably in past 18, 12 months, whatever we gave them. We gave them 2 years. The same as the time we gave 2 years with the key. Arman says to me, Mehran, you have so much patience with people. Why? A father is always patient with his children till they learn. Now you understand why we gave you 2 years with the key. We gave you 2 years with the peace. It didn't happen. We released the key. Now we release the motion of disarming. You lot decide. Pick a day, and all of us, as Keshe Foundation supporters, no supporters, but we believe in the peace and bring all the peace movements in, we start exercising that on this day, we want no peace. We want no killing. We just want peace. No, for 1 day, we decide. This time, we don't go to the media. We don't go to all the ways they control to make more of it. As you see now, people like Mr. Lawrence go and encourage the government. We've seen him in his connection. Kill as many as you can. Make sure that he fails on Monday. We can show we more we kill. Because he's raped his own daughter. To him, is irrelevant. Life is no value. We have to understand mentality of these people. We value life. We exist through life. So we have to understand, let these people knock everywhere. But if we understood the essence of it, don't forget, I'll come back to this in the future, very near future. What did we say? we say world leaders failed us. We ask for humanity to choose a person as the sole leader of whatever we would like to call. Let me explain to you something very interesting. Those who have become the member of Universal Council are already members of the leaders of their nation by language. Now you understand how far you have walked into the path of peace, but we say to the members of the Universal Council, this is not your job, but you can cover that point till the day that the leaders of the speaking language become the world leaders. In a sense, I can ask the members of the Universal Council, which cover majority of the languages on this planet, to sign humanity to peace. This is their position. You did not get the message what I told you before. I asked the members of Universal Council to organize the communication with United Nations to take over their job. We have already placed what I call the leaders of a spoken language which has no border in position. Now you understand how humanity is ready for change. A man who speaks German has only voting right in Germany and no voting right in the United States. We have become so unified that with the universal language, with the Universal Council, every German speaking has a right everywhere on this planet, so there is no border. In a way, I have already established the World Council, the world leadership for humanity. All we need is our representative to walk the path to Haifa. We do not need to. Now you understand how well we are organized. But we still set a gap. We still put a time. Those who think want to be leaders of a certain section, they can talk. They can represent themselves. We have become so much so that we cover the totality of a language of a nation, not the ones who decide to live within the pencil marks of lines which don't exist on the map of this planet. The Universal Council is, the Earth Council is the totality of what man needs. I can
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello. Hello, Mr. Keshe. We're not able to hear you. If you're able to hear us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Yes, we had to switch over. I do apologize. 1 second, please. So what we see, we have already got everything in position. Do we need the world leaders, what they call themselves, to sign a World Peace Treaty, or the signature of those who committed their souls to the peace on this planet months ago, in the way in public across the world, have become the new world leaders? We cannot force, but we can allow. We cannot dictate, but we know our governments as one nation, as one race, as one planet. We have already positioned the world leaders in their place. Many people told me, why do you address the members of the Universal Council and the Earth Council, Your Excellencies? Now you understand. Now you understand the peace process has already started. The people who have committed their souls to peace are already in position to accept the position of the peace. We got two choices. We organize a meeting on Zoom with the presence of all the members of the Universal Council and Earth Council, and they sign the man to peace. And us, as understanding the process, we accept the new one nation government. Or we allow the process to go through, that we give those who call themselves world leaders to correct the situation in the next 30 days. Those of you who are of other languages and would like to be represented in the work of the development of the unity of mankind without wars, without borders, sign yourself in to become a member of the council. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the Flemish speak and the French is covered, and the Germans. And those who had their hand in crime cannot become one. Now you understand. We have walked the path of the peace, we have talked the path of the peace, and now we bring the act of the peace. Those of you who thought you were seeing everything and you had everything under control, that it will never happen, is already has happened. The members of the Universal Council can take position as the Earth leaders and sign humanity to peace. That is their right, because their soul brought them to this place, not the vote, a ballot box which half is lies and never been filled in, but the numbers have been given. And they know they're answerable as totality on one side to universal community, on one side to the heads of the continents, that they make sure all the members of the Society of Humanity in that continent are treated the same as the other. Then we can still run the process of those who wants to be responsible for the sections which we call nations, that they're all protected. For what reason? We don't know, but they can be protected from every other danger during the time of transition. United Nations has become one nation. Now you understand how easily we all have contributed to the development of peace as members of the Keshe Foundation over time. Now it leaves us 2 points. One point is very simple, that do we ask for what I call the soldiers of humanity, which is all of us, to bring in the soldiers of peace, which is the soul of us. I tell you one thing, the soldiers of the soul will win the fight between those who carry the arms and those who carry the soul. It's us who has to decide. We don't call on Greenpeace, or as Rick said, members of the Engineering Council of the Canada or whatever. We have trained enough soul to understand the purity of the work that it can change the direction. The members of the Universal Council should become the contact points for the world leaders in the language to speak. What's next? What can we do? In so many ways, we should see the Earth members to be the signatory, and in fact, the way they came together, we can organize a meeting, whatever, in wherever, on the internet, and they sign all of us to peace. As I say many times, for those of you who understand, is good morning. As we say in the world of play, checkmate. We have achieved, we have put in position, but we still play the game of what they call Keshe. Pretend he doesn't understand, he allows everything happens, but he carries on with his work and he always gets what is good for humanity. You have the knowledge. You have the audacity to accept that now I understand what I'm made of and what I have to do with what I'm made of to be advantage to the others and not me. We don't call it a sacrifice, we call it loving. That they elevate through me, that through them I find the pleasure of the elevation of the soul of humanity. As we see, a father looks after the child, that when he becomes a father, he lives a better life than he did. That should be the purpose of life for man. And now, do we need to kill for it? Or do we need to give for it? It's got to be the decision of the council, how they conduct the world peace. It's got to be the decision of the council, how they want to sign the world present leaders gracefully into becoming the mayors of the nations, not the leaders of the nations. Because as one nation, we don't need leaders. We need those who think is better for the physical boundaries we put, we would like to have. This will be better for us, as long as it's good for all the ones who speak the German language across the world. Now you see we are even one level behind the work when we look at it from the world leaders' point of view of today. Now you understand why we have taken this path. We have walked man to the peace through the channels that man will be happy with what he has. Now we are waiting. Now when it comes, do we allow the junior members, which are the world leaders, to sign the World Peace Treaty, and then allow the members of the Universal Council to sign the World Peace Treaty, and then we allow the Earth Council members to undersign the whole lot as a witness? The game is over. If those who are at the lower level don't turn up, the masters are present. A request from the Earth Council and the Universal Council to draw up the Earth Peace Treaty to be signed by each member. Now you understand, we have already started the process of peace. Now you were hoping and you were waiting that by the 2nd and 3rd of August, the world leaders will turn up. The job is much easier. It has to become the wish of you in conjunction the wish of the World Council and the Earth Council to raise the level of the soul of the man by the 2nd and 3rd of August, that the man starts putting arms down. Now, you are the soldiers of the peace through the understanding of the work of the soul of the man, and not the world leaders. The army is on the move. The army of peace, the army of understanding the essence of the creation, the army which is peaceful. So, what is going to be? The peace process has already started. And if the pen of one man is so important to start, we write our name in the essence of peace. We have signed to become the members of the council. We have accepted the position of the members of the council. And with it, we already have signed the World Peace Treaty of the Keshe Foundation. So the peace has already started. All the members of the Earth Council, all the members of the Universal Council, all the members of the core team have already signed themselves into the World Peace Treaty. Now we begin. The biggest problem for humanity is how from now on to change the others, and that's very simple. In the next 30 days we teach. How? As you've seen in the past 3 days of teaching, I have thought so heavily in the totality of the knowledge that many people are baffled by the whole structure. I've received communication. Why couldn't you teach from the day one? Why have you taken so long? We had to educate the totality that we don't carry a few. The foundation today stands over tens of millions. Any questions? There is one point that we have to explain. Those of you who appear on question time or you want to ask a question, if the members of the foundation do not know you, you have to send. We will not allow no one to appear on any more of the questioning. You have to send your question, your name, your telephone number, your address. That member of the webmaster can check who you are. You don't come in by deception. This is a pattern of the old regime and the old way. We can confirm who you are, and you'll be given an access code to come in to ask a question. This way, we have seen a number of abuses by the misfortunate few who bring this us to the others. The platform is open for those who we know who can contribute. If you have a question, if you are somebody who raise your hand, please write webmaster@spaceshipinstitute.org. Our webmasters in the background are watching. Your name, who you are, telephone number, email, the IP number you're coming out of, and your question. If your question is not according to what we received, we'll switch it off. Every live broadcast goes through this process, so we shall do. We saw a bunch of guys and saying, oh, he asked a question, he gave a number. We did that deliberate, because then you find out why we did what we did. We are not stupid. We set you and you walked in. Any questions?
Mr. Keshe, there is a question that might be applicable to others. From Valentin, who says he sent the application in to become a member of the Universal Council, and he didn't get an answer back. So, but he was added to one of the Universal Council Facebook chat groups by Carolina and so on. But he's not sure whether by that whether he's become part of the Universal Council. And how do people know that they're actually part of the organized Universal Council?
Okay, I asked Vince to come in as one of the webmasters to explain where you have to send, what you have to do. And we don't open that, what do you call it, the channel for hundreds of people. If your language is covered, you will get no reply, but you're there when we announce the member of the council has removed himself or by any means is not there to participate. At the moment, the Italian position has become vacant. I know Stephanie from Italian language has asked me, can I become a member? I said, you have to go back to the council. Please, Vince or Stanley, can you explain how and where people can go to submit their name?
The name can be submitted under universalcouncil.keshefoundation.org, the contact form there. We have posted the link previously on the Facebook page, and I'll post it again so people are aware of it. And that way you are able to get a hold of the Universal Council Secretary and start the process.
If you can put it in the chat, please. Can you repeat again? Vince, can you explain that again, please?
Yes, there's a specific webpage for the Universal Council, which is universalcouncil.keshefoundation.org. And there is a contact form on that webpage that you can fill out that will go directly to the Secretary of the Universal Council, who will then start the process for your contact form. If it's to become a Universal Council member, then they will start the process if it is needed. If there's not a person needed for that language, then you might not hear back until there is a person needed for that language.
Okay,
There is
sorry, there is the auxiliary question from Boniface that says, what are the languages that are not covered yet by the Universal Council or Earth Council? So is there a list somewhere so that
there are
people can
22 or 24 languages are already covered. The members of the Italian is awakened, it's come vacant in the past couple of weeks. The Iranian speaking was Dr. Harvis, who now become the Earth Council member. The Arabic is done, Flemish, German, French is done, and if members of different languages are present, just announce you are here online, who you are, and which language has been covered, please.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Gatua from Kenya, and Gikuyu language is also covered. Thank you very much. I represent that.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Next one. Any other members who cover the language present? I see you are there. If you want to speak, which language you cover?
This is Paul from Togo. I am covered the language of mobile as Universal Council member. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Any other?
I'm Mosfik Rashid. I represent Bengali. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Any other members? As I said, we need a member for the Persian language. We need a member. Hello? Yes? Yes? Can you speak louder, please? We can't hear you.
Just 1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yes?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. I'm Caroline. I am representing the Netherlands language, Universal Council member. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I can speak for Armen. I am representing
No, you cannot.
Armenian language.
You cannot. He is there himself. He can declare. As you understand,
He's not there.
we cover, yes, we cover worldwide 24 hours, and some of the members of the councils are at the night time, in the night zone, or the sleep time, or some are at the work time. They come, they listen to the teachings, and they participate in the languages. When we cross time, we have access to them. They are here. We see them and they participate. There are a number of members of the Earth Council. There are a number of members of the core councils of the Keshe Foundation are in the panelists. If they want, they can introduce themselves. You can always go through them for inspiration and contact. Any other members of the councils would like to introduce themselves, please? No one else? I think, Arman, you can introduce yourself now as yourself.
My name is Armen Gulen, and I'm a core member. And I represent Armenian language.
Thank you.
And Russian, I can say.
My name is Mehran Tavakoli Keshe. I represent the center of the core team of the Keshe Foundation. And at this moment, I present European continent.
Hello, everybody. This is Lisa from Australia, and I am on the Earth Council, and I represent Australia there.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
I'm Rodrigo Vildosola. I'm from Earth Council, and I represent South America.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
My name's Rick Crammond, and I'm part of the core team for the Keshe Foundation.
And my name is Guy Theriault, and I'm a core team member representing the foundation too.
Thank you very much.
I'm Shandor Kokashi, and I am a member of the core team.
Thank you very much. As you can see, the Keshe Foundation in 3 layers of administration and executive are all being set up. It's taken us over 4 years to set up all the organizations. And as we are in position, and as the councils move in there, taking their position in respect to operation of bringing humanity to peace, a number of new positions, or in a way their jobs, will be identified. It's important for us to understand. It was impossible to do everything in one go. When you see a structure like this comes up, it needs planning, executing the plan, and finding that everything is done before you go open. And the whole structure of the Keshe Foundation will cease to exist once the Universal Council and the Earth Council take their positions in running. The Keshe Foundation may become the backbone of the operation. The Keshe Foundation, as we know it, with the multiple works in running the education side, the space technology, the production and manufacturing, becomes the facility for the Universal Council and the Earth Council for the operation. The Keshe Foundation Space Institute has been kept specifically outside the Keshe Foundation, as is the responsibility of the Earth Council and specifically the Universal Council for any interaction between the space and humanity. The education side stays under control of the Earth Council and the Universal Council, and the Keshe Foundation as a whole, as an organization, and its new arm, which has become the Keshe Foundation Global Manufacturing, will be the financial backers for the whole operation. We operate through a very clear mandate. Our mandate is one thing: facilitate, organize, make sure it happens, and man reaches the maturity of peace. And then make sure we guarantee the future of peace. Now you can see how we have walked the whole path to reach where we are. Symbolically, when we come to the point of the universal house of justice, is a handing over of the time, old to the new. Are there any other questions?
I think we had a couple of people become panelists. Thomas, perhaps you'd like to speak, or someone else that's on the panelists list.
Once they ask the question, can you remove them back to where they are, down to stay as panelists, please?
Okay.
Yeah, hello, here's Thomas from Switzerland. I raised my hand to ask the question where I can send the link to my presentation but this question has already got answered. I'm just preparing the email for webmaster@keshefoundation.ch, so you can check all the content before it's been shown. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can I explain something which is important? If you are working and you're planning and you want to organize in any shape or form on any platform, anything for peace, please, to coordinate everything to be done, email has been set up called peace@theearthcouncil.org. Please be careful. Theearthcouncil.org as one word, the Earth Council. THEEARTH council.org. Those of you who want to work through the Universal Council, which is where you want to work and plan or organize whatever for the others to join us for the peace movement, you can write to peace@theuniversalcouncil.org. These are the facilities which are available in the background. If you work and you're targeting and you want to bring other organizations to understand that there's no need for war and they want to be as part of the teaching, the only things the new groups which join us can do is to promote peace through the Keshe Foundation, through their organization. Peace at the Earth Council or peace@theuniversalcouncil.org. Everything is on what we can see. These are the list of the languages which has been covered by the by the Universal Council. Can you hold it there, please? Would you like to read them, please? Rick.
Okay. Maybe first I'll say the focus of the Universal Council to put forth effort towards bringing the awareness of peace to all humanity by helping to share the knowledge of the equality of souls and to share the knowledge of the Keshe technology. Languages. Here's a list of the languages that have representatives in the Universal Council. The list will be updated as more languages have selected representatives in the Council. Arabic, Armenian, Bengali, Dutch, English, Farsi, French, German, Italian, Latvian, Mandarin, Norwegian, Polish, Portuguese, Romanian, Russian, Gikuyu, Spanish, Tagalog, Tamil, Vietnamese, and Hungarian. Shall I continue?
Okay. Yes, please.
Okay, well, it continues with the message from N.T. Keshe. The first rule to be members of the Universal Council is that the Universal Council member should shine like the light of the Creator, to be the source of light for other souls, and radiate the light of the beauty of the Creator, and have and try to reach all attributes of the soul of the Creator. In time, creatures of the universe see this light and not the physicality of the man. The attributes of the Creator has been stated in many scriptures of the man in the past. Secondly, you are through your soul a member of the council. The members of the council can't announce themselves as a member of the council unless it is announced and registered under the council's panels, and no members of the council can ever speak as themselves being a member and influencing their opinion or words. At this point, immediately they lose their seat in the council and a new member can stand for the position. Those who try to show that they are better servants of humanity, they do not stand a chance to take a seat in the council. Selection of the soul of the council comes from service through giving from the soul, and not by talk or physical actions. Okay.
Thank you very much. Now we get to know more and more. Very soon there will be a panel which comes from the section of the first council, Universal Council meeting in Dubai. Then he explains more in detail that exactly how the council is structured and how it is and how it works. If we go back, are there any other questions that it needs to be answered? Rick?
Yeah, I'm just checking now. There's a couple of people, with attendees with their hands up. And I don't know if we have, let me check the other chat. Do we have got any open questions there? We had a question. What are the responsibilities of the core members as well?
The core members were the people where when we started the Keshe Foundation, and we all came in not to expect but to serve. The core members stayed the same. Their rules and regulations for them were stated. Each one knows what they have to do and where they stand. And the operation of the core members is the support of the Earth Council and the Universal Council. The position is sacrosanct, and they stand their own position. They support, as all of them more or less carry all the knowledge of the foundation right across. What we call are the masters of the work. They are what they are. And in time of their passing, they appoint a soul which they think and to them can serve the core as a whole. We have 12 members and 2 center members. And these in time of the passing will change to the new. The Earth Council is 6, which is for each continent. And the Universal Council can grow to the languages of the man on this planet, and in time to language of the other entities, which we come to know are passengers of this ship, what we call the planet Earth. But the Earth is a point where they have taken refuge, or they choose to leave at the time. So it's left open. That's what is called the Earth Universal Council, that in time, those of us who in reality in essence, started our life in another position in the universe, do not become alienated. As we call them, they don't become the foreigners. They belong, they chose, we respect, and we accept their position. The councils of the Keshe Foundation are set for the future of the humanity as long as it lasts, because it's just, it's correct, and it's done to the perfection by the orders of the creation and the creator. In time, man will understand. Any other question?
I believe we have a question from Matus, who's a KF SSI student.
Yes.
You want to go ahead, Matus?
Witam wszystkich serdecznie, nazywam się Mateusz Kurnicki, pochodzę z Polski.
Hello.
Dzień dobry, panie Keshe.
Hello, Matus.
Speaking Polish. Hello?
Hello, did you want to say something? Your microphone is open. Hello, Matus. Can you hear me? You had your hand up.
Yes, yes.
You speak Polish? Or do you want a translation?
I'm from Polish.
Yes. Do you want to, do we have a Polish translator online?
Yes, hello, it's Pavel. I can translate it.
Please, could you ask him what he's trying to ask?
Mateusz, możesz powiedzieć, o co chcesz zapytać?
Chciałem się przywitać na początku. Witam wszystkich serdecznie. Dzień dobry, panie Keshe. Nazywam się Mateusz Kurnicki, jestem z Polski.
He would like to say hello at the very beginning. He introduced himself that his name is Mateusz Kurnicki. He's become from Poland.
Moje pytanie brzmi odnośnie duszy, która znajduje się z tyłu głowy. W jaki sposób możemy nią sterować? Prawda? W jaki sposób możemy nią sterować w stosunku do emocjonalnej części naszej głowy, serca?
I think the Mateusz question. I think there is a feedback somewhere.
Hello?
If you get him to turn down his speaker, might help on that. I think someone's speaker might be turned up too much.
Mateusz, masz włączony może mikrofon? To wyłącz go, proszę. Hello? Right, so if we don't have a feedback, we always try to... the question from... Well, I can hear myself, so I don't... Hello?
We can hear you, you can carry on. We can hear you.
Yeah, try it, Paul. It's just some kind of feedback going on. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Okay, yeah. So the question from Mateusz was regarding the soul, and then he raised the question regarding if how he can work with the emotional part of the brain and increase the strength of the fields of the soul in a way. Hello. That
Yes,
was basically. So, as far as I understand what he says that he knows where the soul is. He recognizes that place, but he would like to know how to increase that. Mateusz, możesz powtórzyć pytanie, bo zapomniałem, szczerze mówiąc. I said to Mateusz, can he repeat the question just to make me that, more correct in translation? Sorry about that.
Let me unmute him. He might not be able to speak there. Let's try. Go ahead, Matus.
Paweł, czy zadałeś to pytanie?
Możecie powtórzyć?
Okej. Moje pytanie jest, jak za pomocą, jak gdyby, ponieważ czuję ten tył głowy, czuję tą strukturę, w momencie, kiedy moje serce zmniejsza swój rytm, to czuję, jakby ta struktura. Moje pytanie brzmi,
As far as I understood, that was he recognized the place and he's working on it. He's trying to increase the fields, and the question was relating with the heart. Can he do that straight from the heart, and how to operate through the heart?
If we go back to part of the original teaching in the medical section, which is on the, what do you call it, on the health section of the Keshe Foundation, we did some 2 or 3 years ago. We explained when it came to about the blood, that how the blood is the carrier of the emotion. And in a way, is the connection between the information which comes from the soul of the every single cell of the body of the man to the master, which is the brain of the man. No blood vessels we find.
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Information from the brain through our neurosystem to the physical part of the body of the man, like you want to move a finger, or you want to move a leg. The emotion or the operation of the soul of every single cell of the body of the man through the blood reaches the boundary of the brain. In a way, comes to, because the brain of the man receives its energy from its environment and not through any other process. Our neural system grow, exist, and operate through the energy which comes from the environment of the body of the man and not through the feet of the man. So they get information, they get their energy, they get their process, and by the blood circulating in the body of the man, as we think that our body receives nourishment through our lymph or receives energy through our blood system, it receives the emotion, the feeling of every cell and delivers it within the boundary .
Are we on?
Well, we are, but I think Mr. Keshe is.
But if
he's
we
back.
understand what we see in the structure, that it absorbs fields from the blood. Those fields are the fields of emotion. Those fields are the information from the soul of the cell. each cell, sending message to the master in what it has received, what it feels, what is the essence of the position where it is. And then in doing so, it passages the message in the operation of the emotion, which is the blood of the man, to the master or to the center, which is the brain of the man. So when your brain operating through the soul of the man, which absorbs this energy from the universal community, and the information which comes from the bottom, which is from the physical part, which itself gave from itself for it to be created, it absorbs the essence and the energy of the soul of the physicality. If you understood this, and if you become clear in respect to this point, you understand something very interesting. And that is, you can use the energy of the soul of the physicality to increase or feed to the direction of the motion of the heart. You got to realize, in the coming time, when you become passengers of the space, there is one criteria and there could be one problem. Very likely, there will be no blood circulation. Extremely likely. So, the way your body will operate is through the field strength of the structure of the soul and the soul of the cells. The way we receive energy to our soul and we dissipate it through the body of the man, through the brain, for it to operate, by the same way, the cells of the body of the man will be fed, which means what has happened and what will happen is that the man will start operating totally in a different process. And that process is, he will use the environmental or his surrounding field to elevate the soul, the energy of the soul, from the direction which is itself the man's physicality through the soul of elements of the body of the man. This process in how we transfer energy from our cell without the connection to the physicality, it'll become part of the operation. But if we learn it from now, we understand that in so many ways, as we will understand more the operation of the body of the man, as we saw that it has, each cell has its own soul, and through it feeds through the blood, and through the blood makes the connection between the physicality and the absorption of the energy from the physical part of the man to the soul of the man, that it transfers the emotion of the physicality. You can use this to elevate your soul. In a way, instead of taking it through the filters of the brain, the energy what you need, you can take energy through the soul cells of each cell of the body of the man and feed it to your heart, and then allow to increase it. I am more receptive to use my right hand to receive. I use that to transfer more energy at the level of my soul through my hand, through my arm, into my blood cell. Then I can dictate that I want to move to the left, or I want to create a condition of loving or giving or taking. You can use your physical entity, which is arm, legs and body, to dictate which part, which section, which emotion part you want to elevate in the whole work of the elevation of the soul of the man. You can identify which part of the soul needs to receive or to contract. You will do this very, very naturally in a time to come, when you're retracting a physicality in one dimension and you want to enter and create another one. We think our cells of our body are just muscles, tissues and the rest of it, but in reality they are part of the organization of the soul of the man. Spreading to understand more of the totality. You call it aura, but in fact aura comes from the interaction of the field of the environment and what the body gives and what the body absorbs. It is not only one way. If you do a same kind of aura analysis and you look and cut the body of the man across, you will see the aura is much stronger internally than is externally. We receive more through the souls of our elements of the cells of body of the man than we give, because we need it to confirm our existence. So, if you understand this, you can use your soul, you can use your blood circulation, you can use the operation of the heart, which is the center point, to divert, to attract, or to increase certain amount of the energies that the soul can cross the boundary of the physicality. As I said to the Mojans, I teach you many tricks. You have to understand which trick you need for what time and where and how. These are techniques that you need to know. It's very much when you drive a car. It's not just a gearbox, clutch and a brake and accelerator. You got the wheels and all the roads are not straight. Every little nudge on the steering decides which way the body of the car goes, and every gearbox, it tells you what the speed it goes, and you continuously adjust it to keep it at the speed you want to go. So is the soul of the man. The soul of the man, it takes and it gives so much. So the rest of the physicality dictates and absorbs what the soul is short of. So you can use the elements of the organ of the body of the man to increase, to absorb, and to send or to deliver to the soul of the man through this process. You have to remember two crystal clear points. You cannot take, you request, can I have? It's the same thing. If you take, you have stolen, because it needs to go through the process. Do I need it? Would it endanger my life? Would I exist if I gave? But when you request, I need, as you are given, it means I do not need, you do not endanger me, you don't commit a crime, you do not break the law. When you give as a lover, there is no condition. It's the most unconditional position and it's the most beautiful way to be in, because you give. It depends on the lover to accept the love, which means I don't need it, but somebody else does. I already have a lover. Which means I receive my energy, I have what I need, and does not fit to me. And it's exactly, if you look, it's the behavior of the two magnets. I've shown it in many teachings. If you put two spherical magnets next to each other, which is the two souls of a man, when one does not need, one moves away till the point that I can receive what I need. The behavior of the soul of the man can clearly be shown with two spherical magnets. There are two plasmas and they move according to their strength and the position. So, if you understood this and you understand that your soul is much more powerful and your heart is the weaker, in the process of the soul of the man trying to elevate the soul of the physicality, which is with the heart of the man, the soul gives off the stronger order, and in that process it receives the stronger what it needs from universal energy or from the physicality part of the man, which has come by the blood itself into its surrounding. It's a tuning mechanism. Go back to the teaching, the health teaching, in respect to the blood and the brain, and you understand it fully. It's been clearly stated, we can explain it in depth. Therefore, there are many ways you can increase the level of your soul, which means as it grows, it has to expand, and it expands, it can cross the boundary of the man, and in that process, the man becomes singularity, it becomes on its own. But for it to exist, now has to find another field that it can position itself in respect to. Strange game is the game of plasma. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, there's a question from Jan in the live stream. Question, how to strengthen the heart in the case of coronary heart diseases?
That's only physicality.
Okay, so I would extrapolate then that the physicality heart doesn't really, is not directly correlated to the field of the heart.
You got to understand where the heart diseases come from. There's a lot of I'm trying to choose my word that I can explain it clearly. Many heart diseases, what we see, it's the psychosomatic of the psychology and the emotion of the heart, the soul of the heart, in respect to its physicality. We see the brain of the man and how it manifests itself with different problems, and then it transfers it to physical part of the man. There is no difference between the heart of the man and the prostate of the man and the arm of the man or the liver of the man. Most of the heart diseases come from the soul of the man, but on the soul, on the physical side of the soul of the man. Once the world of medicine understands these, we should not see any heart diseases, as you call it. Why do we get the blood clot? Why do we get the blockages of the arteries? Stand still and think for 1 second. When you change the environment due to different strength, water become ice. So there is no difference. The problem has been that the man again has not understood the connection and the direction of the work of the heart and the brain of the man is exactly the same. Look at the chambers, look at the sections. But this one is for the physical part, but it carries his souls in the center, and the other one is for the soul itself and the emotional part of the body of the man. Then, if you can get a brain tumor, or you can get different materials created, different strength in the brain. If you cut the brain, has different strength. Now you understand why you have all kinds of heart diseases, or what you call diseases. You elevate the soul, you will see the change in physicality of the heart too. And you've done so naturally. I've done this many times. In recent past, I have accepted one case which is very dear to me. Doctors gave up. In a wheelchair, in oxygen, 24 hours. In and out of hospital on daily basis, more or less, weeks at end in hospital. Less than 14 days. No lung problem, no heart problem, start walking, hardly any oxygen needed. Supporting the soul, supporting the physicality, supporting the lung, with it supporting the heart. And a man which doctors were counting the days, now is walking again after months in a wheelchair with the oxygen mask. You have to realize the separation of the two. If I go on board, I've drawn it many times. The soul of the man, which is the essential creator of the man, sits in the brain of the man. But the physical part of the man, which is the itself as part of the totality of the structure, sits in the center soul of itself, which is the heart of the man. You see in psychosomatic, this is the same, but somatic side is the physical structure of the heart of the man. It is reversible totally. Even if there is a blockage in it, you can open it because it does it naturally. There is no damages, there is no bits of blood or solid blood will go ever in the body of the man to create it. Any other question?
I want to share something.
Yeah.
I am Pim from Belgium. I want to share something.
Your name, please?
I am Pim from Belgium. I am a private student. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
So, yes. I have an experience I think is related with your teaching. Always, I'm so grateful because I see now the process as a process and trust in our own soul. So I have an experience what is wonderful for me and I want to share because I have a migraine problem my whole life. Started with the hormone stuff in young age until now. I couldn't help myself. So I looked in very many courses of healing and such things, meditation, go in stillness to help myself. And it was all nice to know, but it was still a theory. And for me in the Keshe Foundation, it became very important to practicing things and not always talk about the theory. So what I did, I decided 2 weeks again passed to grow in trust, and I decided that I don't need headaches anymore. So it was a decision that involves a lot of things, commitment and release, to be anger to others, to be to go in drama, it is a commitment to release that all. So, and what happened this week, it is wonderful. I had migraine, it began. So I think I will do an exercise I felt I must do. And I breathe very loving in the heart. And then I breathe this love to the universe. And I ask to breathe in the energy of light, the golden light, in the point where I have pain. So there are always 3 points that the pain comes from in the migraine. It's the stomach, then it's on the under head, it's a hole in the neck under the under part of the skull, and then it goes behind the eye. So in that 3 points, I put with my visualization and a soft, loving breathing, I put a sun, a shining, loving sun in the 3 points. And I couldn't believe it, because after 2 minutes, my migraine was go away. So the first time I say, oh, I have chance. It cannot be true. A day after, it was still hanging headache and migraine come up because I was a bit nervous. And I say I will do it again, but I have waited until the migraine come very true. So it was boom, boom, boom after my eye. And now I say, if I can use that system and that is helping me, it passed away, the pain, then I am so growing in trust, through the Keshe knowledge, that if I can do that, I can do anything, because it is really a problem. My whole life, I have days, months in total darkness and pain. And after 2 minutes, the second time, it disappeared again, totally. So it made me so happy to have contact with that and using it. It's not still something that could be happen. It's happened. It just happened. So, and I have a question. Is it so simple to use such system? Also, if we all do that, not for migraine, yes, you can do, of course, but for the peace, can it be so simple that if we all focus a moment a day and then release it to the universe to ask for peace and put on all the levels in all the hearts and souls of all the people who are leading us, in which way it is, the good or the less good, could it be so simple if we do that all together, not talking, just concentrate, focus on that it will dissolve a lot of problems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The process you speak about is understanding to bring the energy. And in a way, the soul absorbs energy and gives energy. It's I know many people who use this system nowadays. They use it because they understand for the first time what and how they can absorb energy from the universal fields. Maybe in what you said, I bring you in a different direction or explain something which we talked about earlier. For many of you who think of peace and work of the peace, and you want to contribute towards it, I'll give you a way out, or I'll give you a solution. We've seen a list of members of the Earth Council. We've seen a list of members of the Universal Council and the core team. Your point of reference with the humanity is the Earth Council and the Universal Council. As you cannot reach all the world leaders, you have names and you have positions, and some have declared themselves who they are, what they are. By supporting the soul of the members of the councils, at the same time members of the councils understand they are responsible for the language which they speak through, for the leaders which they speak the language of, you can reach the present Earth member councils or universal councils through to them, to the leaders, world leaders that they'll receive. In so many ways, in the past 48 hours, we have received 2 requests from 2 governments. They want to speak. They want to explore the possibility. And we have given a green light to both governments. We do not know what the outcome will be. We have a number of other people who are connected to governments, have indicated, can we speak to you, that through us they can channel to their government? The answer is yes. Use the members of the council that is easier for you to reach, for them to reach the leaders of the world in the languages they operate. You can say, I'm open to receive, that I can give more than I receive. And you'll find out the body of the man receives. Because as you state open, you got to remember there is a fundamental process. And in so many hidden ways, I've explained it in most of the teaching. But most of you don't see. Some of you think, I want to keep, but I don't know how. Some
Hello.
of you, you say, hello. Excuse me, you're online. Some of you would like to understand how to start the process of receiving, that you can give more. I'll show you a technique, at least something in the dimension of physicality. When you create emotional feeling to love, you give an emotional feeling to give, it means you are in the position of spreading out. And you find out the more you spread the energy, the more you start receiving. You feel loving in your heart, which means you want to give. And through that process, you feed the soul. You know, when you're in love with a woman, when you're loving a child, When you are loving with the dog or the cat or a plant, you know how your heart goes for it, you want to give everything to it. You need that in your heart, that you can direct it to your brain, and that through the structure of giving to your physicality, you receive more. In so many ways, if I can surround it in one word, fall in love with life, fall in love with humanity. What it means, you feel it in your heart, and with it, you feed the humanity, and the man will feel it. The animal will feel it. The simplest way is become the creator. Understand the work of creator. Fall in love with the universe. When you see another man, when you see another woman, when you see a plant and you see a dog, when you see a cat, try to understand that I'm in love with the totality, not what I want to choose. You feel your heart and you become the shining star. This is one of the ways that the creator creates. Go back and fall in love again. I see a plant, my heart goes. I see the beauty of a child. My heart beats to be able to see it as an adult, that he can enjoy the beauty of life. I see a woman, I fall in love so fast because I see the beauty, not that I want to give, but I give because I know I can elevate. Does not matter what heart is given to me. When you reach the state of literally being in love with the totality, you'll find out you become what you wish to be. Many of you keep on asking me, you asked yourself, how can I give to my soul? Fall in love with mankind. The same as you fell in love with your husband, your wife, your dog, your child. You know the feeling. You know the feeling better than anybody else. We fall in love from the second of our conception. When we are conceived, we fall in love. That's why we create. We allow to be created. And then, when you become a being, just fall in love. I see a woman for the past couple of weeks, and I tell my people around me that she's so beautiful because I see the soul. The face explains it. But I can't tell people how I feel because then they don't understand. I tell Caroline many times, as a lot of you know, and I say to her, my falling in love with you is the same as the first day I met you 20 odd years ago. Because I see the beauty of the soul, not the physicality of the man. Because physicality makes many mistakes. Our physical part cannot forget the mistakes, but in so many ways, the love makes you blind because you give so much. Is what I told you, the light passes your lights, your eyes, and then you see a flash. This is what happens when you truly fall in love, when you truly become man of peace. It hurts you, it bothers you, physically drains you, but you always say the love is much stronger. You ask me, how can I elevate? How can I increase my soul? My answer is very simple. Remember when you fell in love. Now try to keep in love 24 hours a day. You enlighten anyone who comes across you, and then it reaches the planet. I've said many times, a man who is not in love is a dead man. I fall in love every second. Everything I see beauty in it, even though it can harm me. But because of what I give, I change. Next time, when you ask me, how can I elevate my soul? I tell you one thing, become a lover. From every cell of your body, become a lover. Then you elevate your soul so fast that the soul will embrace the totality of the physicality. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. There was a person before Hassan who wanted to be, had his hand up, and we made him a panelist. Did you have he was a KF SSI student as well, I believe. Hassan, did you want to ask a question or have a comment? I'll try to unmute and see what's there. No. Hello? No, I don't think so. I think he's appears to not be there. Okay, who else?
Shall we call it a day?
Well, we can if you wish, Mr. Keshe. There's no reason why we have to go, like we mentioned before. So.
We've done about 2.5 hours. The position is the time does not count. In what we accept and what we nourish ourselves with counts.
Mr. Keshe, there is one last question here that came up, and it's related to what you're saying in a way. So maybe I could ask that.
Please go ahead.
Theodore says, can you ask Mr. Keshe if the love and appreciation feeling is used as a trigger to start the flow of energy? Why do we get the goosebumps and our skin tightens when this happens?
When we fall in love, the breath goes, the leg doesn't walk, the brain goes into the seizure state. A lot of other things happen except goosebumps. The speech disappears. A lot of us have fallen in love in different ways and seen different reactions. It's not just the goosebumps. Is the soul of the part which received the strength of the emotion of the soul of the man, which received the information through the circulation of the soul of the blood of the man, which creates these reactions. When all synchronizes on the soul level, then we get the reaction. I remember when I fell in love with Caroline. I've said that many times. I met her from the top of the stairs and I could not walk down anymore. And I still see her, and still she gives me the same shock. When I see my children, I have the same feeling. The first time I saw them when they were born, I was present at the birth of all my children. when I see them, the love is the same. I have the same feeling with my dog. Every time I see him, it's the first time I saw him as a little puppy, 2, 3 weeks old. This is what we need to know. How we fall in love. And how we express that love. Even the love hurt us. I always say the hurt of the love is test of us in strength of our love. And the ones we love more, they hurt us more, for us to be tested that do we actually love them so much. And in so many ways, when you say to somebody, I love you, when they are down, it's their energy they receive that it pumps them up. They need it because they receive it freely. Men have a few different ways to show their love. We kiss each other. The energy which we kiss out of love, not out of hello, how are you, is totally different energy. Our partner feels it. It goes through the body because it comes at the strength of the soul of the man through the energy of the soul of the cell of the man in physicality. It has not reached the soul inside the brain. It's still part of the physical part and needs it. Have you seen when a child cuddles the mother or the mother cuddles the child? It's a true love. It's giving. Mom, I need, you have something which you have given me that I can give you back. And it's the same from the mother. Try this next time. When you close the phone, turn around to your lover, to your wife, to your husband, to your dog, whoever is near and whoever you see today. Just tell them with a feeling that you feel it, not just the word of it, I love you. And you will see what the difference it will make to you. Not just by words, by the meaning. And then you'll find out you fall more in love and more in love, and you have a problem with your wife. Why do you fall in love with all the women? This is a different love, darling, but no, you cannot. I've been there. You can fall in love with any animal except women, because then the wife sees it as a problem. But in fact, if you love all the women, there are the women who love the others who become the soldiers. And then they can elevate them much easier. Loving is not a physical interaction. Loving is I give freely that your soul elevates. Go to the writing of Baha'u'llah. If you have a boy and a girl, and you can educate, you educate the girl. If you can give to soul of the woman who by their love can stop the soldier to pull that gun to become army man because of their wish, then you understand how powerful it is to love all the women in the world. They are the creator. There are those who give birth to the soldier. There are those who give birth to the leaders who create the mayhem. Now you understand how clever Baha'u'llah was. Because when you educate the child through the mother to love and not to destroy, the child will never touch a gun. Do we need to elevate the soul of the women, that through them men find peace in not killing each other? The answer is yes. But how do you tell the woman not to be jealous? I'm doing it for the sake of humanity. That's another problem. Even God hasn't managed to sort that one out, let alone man. Loving is giving, and when you give unconditionally, it's received, it's replicated, and responded to. We love because we want to give. And that is the beauty of it. Shall we call it a day?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Azar just managed to get in. Yes, Azar. Let's see what is happening. She's the latest lover. She just got married. She just confirmed her love. She didn't invite anybody. We all were waiting for it.
Mr. Keshe, my brother has.
By the way, can you stop? Can you stop, Azar? Does anybody have a wedding song anywhere in the background that we can at least play 2 weeks later? Still good enough.
Mr. Keshe, Mr. Keshe, I was going to say this. My sister-in-law, she made a little video of my wedding, which is incredible. But in that video, there's a little orb, and then the minute it touches the sun, it becomes a roundish around it, becoming like a spaceship. The way you explained it, I was gonna send it to you to look at it to see how it is. It's beautiful, and I can send it to you. You can check it out.
Send it to Rick. He can play it. By the way, do we have any wedding music in the background for our true lover? Anybody can pinch one anywhere. How does it feel after 2 weeks of saying yes and still? Are you still in love?
Yes, I am actually. Yes, I am.
You're a freshest wedding gift we have on this program. Can I ask you a question? When you said yes to him, was it the same love strength as when you first met him?
Actually, you know what, Mr. Keshe, I was very, when I first met him, I mean, it started with a doctor-patient relationship like 3-4 years ago, and he was in Houston.
Who was the doctor? Who was the doctor and who was the patient?
I was a patient, he was a doctor.
I thought you were a dentist.
No, he was actually an oral surgeon a long time ago. Then life tore him into the homeopathy, chiropractor, and then other stuff he started to do. And then he would actually can use his strengths to cure people over the phone. Like my problem was some problem in my body that I couldn't understand what's going on, pain. So when I called him over the phone, he fixed me up. So I just said, wow, this is interesting. So I started to pick his...
Did he fix you up or did he fix your heart?
No, I didn't. I didn't see you. I did it over the phone. And then
you don't need physicality, do we? Because you see, every heart has a telephone number. It proves you are correct.
No, because I was so interested, and I said I have to meet him. I was in Dallas, then I said, "Can I come and visit you on Sunday to have brunch?" So he came, but 4 hours we spoke, and I was so fascinated the way he does things. So and then his son was a medical doctor in Mexico. He was doing a lot of like a non-profit thing, like an orphanage, take care of orphanage, and I want to always get involved with something that I can give to humanity. So I said, how can I get involved with your son in Monterey? And he said, why don't you come to Houston one time? We can go over it. Maybe we can go to the orphanage. And it was about 350 orphan people that they help. And then what I did, actually he has gone there, and they were all 350 kids. They were stuck in, he said they were all stuck in a wheel of karma or something, and he made them start living, start the life in them. So anyway, I went and and I said, this time you come and you just want to come and stay with me. And what has happened was interesting, Mr. Keshe. I have a book, I always write things in it, that's my wish book. Anything I want to put it, I write it down. And always my family was worried about me, about my life, that I live life in a way don't think about my future. Like I have to be financially secure. I
know that.
And then anyway, everybody was worried about me. So in this book, after everything happened, one day I went and I read part of this book, and I see I wrote down, God, everybody's worried about me. But should I worry about myself? And then I said, God, I really don't think my daughter is very worried about me. I don't have a partner. I don't have a man in my life. She's said, Mommy, why don't you go out and date? And I didn't believe in dating. And I said, I wrote down in this book, I said, God, I really don't think I need anyone, but if you think I need someone, you better bring it to my door because I'm not going to look for it.
So the God walked him in.
And then what happened when I went to stay with him, and I'm always very serious, and I had my own room and everything, so we were conversing every day. And one day, suddenly in the kitchen, we were doing something, we bump into each other. Suddenly, this amazing feeling went through my body. I said, "What happened here?" And that was it. It was unimaginable. I mean, I said it was God intervention. Otherwise, I would never be interested in any guy. Just like it was fascinating how it happened.
So at the bottom, you didn't answer my question.
What was the
Did
question?
you feel the same when you said yes to him 2 weeks ago as the same as the first time you fell in love with him?
It was more even.
Oh, good. So you have found the cure for everything then.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Send us the video. Congratulations. Give my best regard. A man who can live with you can live with anything, Azar. A very great man. Thank you very much.
I have a question, Mr. Keshe. You see,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of in the past, like even now, you see a lot of people go out and date, and some of them fall in love with the other person, and the other person doesn't fall in love, and these people get hurt and cry. And what is this situation here happening? One person is in love, or they're not in love?
Can you explain that again?
Like, for example, say I go on a date and I meet a guy, we go out for like 6-7 months, suddenly one of them fall in love and the other one doesn't fall in love. And then there's a separation. The other one gets hurt. It happens all the time. And is the other one chasing, is it a real life or these people imagining because the other person doesn't love them?
Yeah, the thing is we don't love because we are not of the same strength. Loving comes through physicality. Love, what we call love, has to be of a given strength. This is a very good example of what I keep on saying, and now you refer to it. When you're in love, it has to be of the same strength, otherwise you don't. Two magnets operate and attract if they're of the same strength. You don't find a wood attracting plastic, but if you can make a magnet of plastic, it will attract plastic. So when you fall in love, the field strength of the emotion of the soul has to be the same. We fall in love not with our soul, we fall in love with the soul, part of the physicality, part of the body of the man. And that's a strange part. Because we never understand the totality of it, then what we say, it creates a mayhem in us. One falls in love because most probably is on, well, let's say it's on the gravitational side of, because she likes to give, but the gravitational side does not receive to create the circulation because it's not of the same strength. We fall in love because at the same time, the ones who fall in love together at the same time are those we see marriages for life. Because everything else can be tolerated because they tasted it at the same time together. They have created a bond, created a field of strength that has become common denominator. Everything else can be sorted. But that love becomes the center of the creation. That love becomes what we call the true center part of the emotion of the soul of the man, which is the soul of the man itself. The ones who one falls in love and the other one has no interaction or interest is because what we call the feeding side of one does not receive what the other one is giving to his gravitational, which means I receive but I can't give, I don't have anything which is at the level you like. Seen that many times. A woman falls in love with a man and is crazy about him, and the woman loves another, the man loves another woman. She says, how can he love her but not me? Because it's not of the same strength. It's not of the same level.
Mr. Keshe, when you talk about the heartbeat, I had something happen to me like in 15 years ago. I tell you the story, but I still don't understand that.
Was he nice?
What happened?
I said, was he nice?
No, it's a story like this. I was beginning of my dentistry. I was working in an office. It was first year after my my residency, and then I started to. He came in. He was I was like 42. He was 32, and he came in, and I started working on him. And that time, he was very afraid of dentists. He wasn't been to a dentist for 10 years, so I told him he needs to do full veneer for the front. And it was actually my first time doing veneer. I was a little bit nervous too. So I sat and started working on him. I didn't have any assistant. And suddenly I saw him start playing with my leg. And I had cut in all his teeth, and I was in the middle of it, and I didn't know what to do. I got up, I left the office, I went to the owner of the practice, and I said, I have cut this guy. He has no front teeth almost because I had to cut it. Now he's playing with my leg. What am I supposed to do? Are you slap him in his face and throw him out, or complete the case? And she goes, just throw him out. And I came back. I said, God, I don't know what to do. I sat down and I called somebody. I called the assistant. I said, come and sit with me. So I sat down, finished the case, didn't say anything. And I put his temporary and I said, okay, you're going to come back in 2 weeks. I will complete the case. So he left and he called the next day. He said, I broke my temporary. Can you fix it? I said, okay. So I was thinking to myself, oh my God, he's going to play. If he does this, what am I going to do? So usually, because he was afraid, I was telling him the day before, close your eyes, imagine yourself, you'll be in a garden of flowers, beautiful roses, a fountain. And in that moment, you're not going to feel the pain when I inject you. And when he came back, I said to him, have a seat, please. And then he sat. I said, you remember what I told you yesterday to sit down, imagine yourself in a garden, because I was going to fix this temporary. And he said, yes. I said, at the same time, why don't you put your hand together? Don't move your hand until I'm done with you. And so that way I could complete his case. After I was done with his case, 2 weeks later, he took me to a room. He said, can you go out with me? I said, he gave me his card. And I said, thank you. I'll let you know. So when he left, suddenly when I look at his card, he was one of those big guy on TV. So I didn't know he was a famous person. So I didn't call him or anything. But every time he came, when I moved to another office, he followed me there. And then I said to him one day, I said, okay, you know what? I go on a date with you. So when I went on a date with him, every time I saw him, when I saw him that night, my heartbeat was so high. It was just, my heart was jumping out of my chest. And I didn't know what was happening. And then I said to him, when I went on a date with him, I said, the reason I came out with you, I have one question for you. You could have asked from the beginning for my number and take me out to dinner rather than playing with my legs. Why did you do that? What's the reason behind your action? Because I don't think it's nice. He says, you are a beautiful woman. I said, there's tons of beautiful women out there. There's no reason to do that. Why did you do that? And then he had no legitimate reason. But then I realized he's a famous person. He do this kind of thing all the time. Probably he's a womanizer. Because I heard later, I went and I found that he probably sleep every night with some woman. So I didn't want to be that prey to him. So, and then, but the night I went out with him, he was very nice. He didn't go out of line or anything like that. So that ended. But then beneath all that, I realized he was a man who got hurt in the past heavily. So I realized the psych behind his action, and he was trying to get his emotion in this way, because I could see beneath his action. His action was a representative of what was happening to him in the past, And then I sent him an email. I said, it seems you're a nice guy, but the way you're acting, maybe it comes from something else. And that was the reason. And after that, actually, we became kind of a friend. Once in a while, we would see each other. We would share our stories. But still, he was interested in, and then I didn't have I didn't know if I was interested, but my heart beat every time we went together out to just share a meal and talk. My heartbeat was just over the roof. And I had no idea still to this point what was the reason for it.
Maybe his heart went over the roof as well. But as you said, he had some problem. The point is, I know exactly what you're talking about. But this is happening to me 26 years. Every time I see Caroline, I have that feeling. I still fall in love with other things in the world, but this woman triggered something. But I always tell her, even in writing daily, I say, I love you. She says, you write it, you say it so much, I get fed up. I said, but it happens. I see you, I lose everything. Because when we meet, when we make the first contact, that love touches the soul of the creator's level. It goes to the essence. It passes everything we know. It goes below. It's so strong that it goes deep inside. So all the time we have a connection with it. They say us Iranians are the master of falling in love. Doesn't matter man or woman. I think it comes with the water from Tehran or from Iran. It has something in it. That's why we get the most loving poets in Farsi. The essence of loving, it means I want to give. It's not that my heart, which comes in, it wants to go, I want to give. But you have to have a receiver for it. Maybe the receiver takes, but he has a control in what he gives. We see this in a lot of mysteries lovers. When there are mistresses, the woman gives everything, but the man takes but doesn't show, because if he shows, he's got somebody else is already giving to, call the wife. Maybe he needs to receive because he doesn't receive it at home. We are all lovers, but what is the problem? We got to learn that to be a lover all the time, not a part-time. And this cycle now, which we need to complete, is we got to fall in love with humanity, and then it comes, the rest of it, the animals and the rest of it. We can increase the level of the soul of all the animals. But the problem is, if you look at it from the first life to the end life, man has become consumer of all. Maybe once we achieve peace and love with ourselves and us as human beings, then we put our efforts to pass the love we've taken from the rest. And then maybe we are the wolves which has to find the house with the sheep, which is the rest of the planet. And then if we learn this, we fall in love with everything we see in the universe. And it'll be beautiful. I tell you one thing, man or woman, you'll see something very strange, you feel it. When you come in touch with the universal community, those who are of the type, or most of them are, you fall in love with all of them. They are the masters to make you fall in love with them. Because by falling in love with them, you never think of harming them. They give you so much that you don't know how to give back. One of the secrets of masterpieces of peace is giving so much love that the lover cannot open his mouth to say anything but I love you. You'll see very soon, if you get this course, if you go through this cycle, now that we are heading towards world peace and world peace agreements which are already appointed, we know where we're going, you'll find one thing very interesting. Start loving. And then, if it's true love, you will see universal community will join you and help you to do the others and the rest of it. But when you see them, they give you so much that you even become ashamed of loving. Is it me or is it them? But they know the control of it. And soon you will learn that has the control of it is not to let you to go over the top in receiving as much as you can give, that you elevate your soul through the receiving from them. Fall in love with the humanity and fall in love with this planet. Is beautiful. And then you'll find out, when you see a soldier, you show him so much love that he even forgets he carries a gun with him. If men go out and kiss and cuddle the world presidents and give it from their life, you'll find the presidents will change. Try it, you will see. We have already received the appointment of the Earth Council and the Universal Council to support, to change the course of humanity. They know where to send it. Fall in love, which means giving. It'll find its way, because when one is rich, it goes to the next one, and when the other one reaches, it goes to the next one. Very strange thing is, if you truly fall in love, you see the blindness of love, because it passes the light, the strength of the physicality. Now you understand maybe one word. When we say he's so much in love that he's totally blind, he doesn't see. Thank you very much for today. We meet in 1 hour and we'll see where the Creator takes us.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, once again. All right. That ends today's Blueprint for Peace for Humanity morning session for day 4, Wednesday, July 5th, 2017. And we'll be back in approximately an hour for the afternoon session. Okay, I'll end the live stream.